Okay. So as we were discussing, so today we'll do the login to the environment with all of you, and we'll create a new model and new projects and everything. Okay. So before that, let us just quickly summarize what we have learned now, and we'll go through the architecture part. So that is very critical. We need to complete on that part. So yeah. So as of now, this is what we have learned from the Visual Studio. We have created the model, element, project, package structure, the compiler build, everything that we have learned, and also the elements we have learned. Then we'll quickly have go to our architecture. We have discussed our application, platform, suite, foundation. I'll explain it now today also. And the server architecture, the complete D365 F4 architecture, I have like previously discussed also in the demo, and also in the when we were discussing the first Visual Studio. So that I will again touch upon today. So yeah, so this is very critical. How the model extension, all those things, I will be again showing you today. It will be very clear to you. Okay. So just remember this part. This is very critical. So how this model element structure works, and what is the structure of the application, platform, suite, and foundation. Okay, so let's just go into the architecture part. Okay. Okay, so this is okay. I'll just quickly go through this slide once. Actually, I have already showed you this slide, but just to quickly go through, this is a complete architecture. I would say the easy way to show the architecture, the cloud architecture, because right now again I'm repeating myself on this. So all our implementation start with like our directories should be moved to our Azure Active Directory. This is the first critical part. We do not have any locally hosted Active Directory. So if you and me are running a business and we have a Windows directory or Office directory which is hosted locally, that cannot be happen. So we should be having a Microsoft Azure Active Directory. All our users should be moved to the Azure Active Directory, and that Active Directory, when you have those Active Directory, then you have the access for Microsoft Office 365 Office admin, and from there you can give permissions to the users. You can give permissions, roles and responsibilities to the user. Once you have that roles and responsibilities and user setup, then you can give access to each and every application. All these are kind of application, what I can say. Finance and operations as an app is an application which we showed you yesterday. So this is the ERP application. If I have a CRM application, it can lie here. If I have a field service application, then again it can lie here. And then lifecycle services is for managing our projects. Whenever I am implementing the Microsoft our project, Microsoft gives us or Microsoft manage environments, I can found here. This lifecycle services is a place where I can go and see all my environment listed down. By default, so once you procure the license, by default Microsoft gives you three environment. One is development, test, and production. But apart from that, you can buy your own environments and buy all your VMO, so which can be maybe an UAT environment, pre-production environment, or maybe a build environment. So all these things, because big companies when they are implementing, they might be having 2-3 different development environment and 2-3 different testing environments. So based on the requirement, Microsoft provides it, but by default you have three environments which is managed from here, which is lifecycle service. And VSTS or DevOps, what we call, is nothing but managing our versioning of code, managing all our object, maintaining the build pipeline, all these things. So this is again one application which we can use. All these applications we can just go and use directly from the credentials which we have from the Azure Active Directory. So one sign-on process is enough for us to maintain the process. Okay, so this is the overall cloud app infrastructure. Okay, yeah, going back to this slide,
So,
some of you may have questions, and some of
so
you have,
uh,
yeah, please go ahead.
yeah, I have a doubt. Sir, you are showing the PPTs, but we have any form on this. We want to prepare a
Yeah,
PDF to blend that
your
one.
voice is not clear.
Do you
Can
have
you
any
come
PDF?
again?
Is it clear, sir? Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Is it clear?
tell me.
Hello. Sir, my voice is
Yes,
clear.
yes. Now tell me. Yes.
Do you have any PDF on this? I want to share any.
PDF.
I'm asking. Do you have any PDF on this?
Actually, I don't have PDF, but I have other elements also. If you want me to share, I can share with you. Okay, because there are few
Yeah,
things.
I
If
really
you
want.
go and search over internet over the Microsoft blogs and Microsoft website, also you can find the different articles. If you just search with that, but it might take you some time. But yes, I can definitely help you on that. I have few documents. I'll share that with you. I don't have the PDF, but I have a Word document if I remember correctly. I just need to find out, but yes, like the structure, architecture, all this part, I have a few document. I can share that with you. Okay. Okay, yeah, so drop everyone your email IDs. I'll share that because that's a large file. So I think you have already shared that email ID with admin, so you can just drop that email ID in the chat window. I can share that. Okay. uh, okay,
Yes,
so
I
this
already.
structure, yeah, okay, great. So yeah, just coming back to the slide. So but this application structure, so okay, so previously in AX 2012 we had a three-layer architecture. Okay, so by three-layer I mean okay, so the structure was, it's like that. So we have one layer for UI, which we called as the client interface. Then we have the AOS, and we have the DB. Okay, so this is like the three-layer architecture what we have. So what do I mean by that? So the client interface, like the whenever we are implement creating a form, creating some menu item, which is actually from the front end part. So from the front end, whenever we are using something, what you used to call it client. So the window that I was showing you, right, the ERP, the customer form, the sales, or all those things, so that we used to call the in the older version as a client. Okay, so that is a one layer. Second layer is our AOS, which is our application server, which is used to running our AOS application object server, which is used for our running the application. And second, third applicable layer is our DB, database. So what we used to do, our client forms and everything used to is in one layer. One layer is our DB, and the AOS layer we have our application and everything. Okay, so whenever you are writing the code, you are actually writing the code in the AOS layer. So all our business logic, everything lies here. Once you open the UI, so once I open the front end, you click on one button or you try to enter one data, right? So based on the logic, whatever you have written, it communicates to the AOS layer. Based on the business logic, it enters the data into the database. So this is a kind of simplified way of saying these are the three layers what we had in the older version. But right now, as I discussed, everything is based on the model structure, right? So we have these three main models, or I would say these three main structural models what we have, which I was discussing: a platform, foundation, and the application suite. So the platform is basically, if you consider these three, if I consider these three, so platform you can relate to the UI or the client interface, which is the lowest layer, the application platform, where we have this client, which I was explaining, right? SSRS reporting, the workflow and services, all these are comes under the application platform, which is the basic layer or the ground layer. On top of it, we have this application foundation, where all the framework object, as I was discussing, whichever we need for running all the models, like address book, our number sequences, source document, all these are our application foundation. Correct. So this application foundation is a layer on top of it, which is a kind of a framework model. And the third one, which is on top of it, is the application suite, where all our most of our application object or the code elements are sitting. So these three layers we are from the application point of view we are concerned about. So the platform foundation of the application suite. So this is like the ground layer where we have all our client representation UI. This is our foundation layer where we have the framework elements, and this is our application suite where we have the codes and objects. Okay. Again, so we discussed this. So today I'm just brushing up on this thing because this is very clear, like important to understand this concept, right? Okay, the server architecture. So if you remember, so I was saying this part, right? If you see, or rather
Maitra,
this,
uh,
yeah,
uh, can you just touch base on those slide again? So what we are saying is the UI, the presentation layer, and SSRS reporting, everything is on the platform layer.
yes, yeah. Okay, you want to go touch upon this one
Previous
or
slide. Yeah,
this one?
this slide. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So yes, the right now we don't. So that architecture, three-tier architecture, I can just easily from the application point of view. Right now, see everything is based on the model structure, right?
mhm.
So whenever we are concerning about the model, and when we try to create a model today, we'll see. So we have these few application stacks, right? The main models, what I can say, the platform, the foundation, and the suite. So the platform, all the client, the SSRS report, and the workflow services, which is basically I can say the UI part. So that part is actually comes under the application platform whenever you are trying to create something. So if you go and try to create a new workflow, or if you go and try to create customize a workflow, so by default Microsoft gives us so many things, right? I can have a workflow for my sales order. If you go and try to create the sales order workflow or change something in that workflow, you have to go and change that based on the application platform model. So if you have to find that element, the sales order workflow elements in the application platform model, and you have to go and change those items. Similarly, application foundation, if I want to go and do some customization in my address book or framework elements, so these are kind of a framework elements which is being used across all the modules, right? Address book, our number sequences, organization models, all these are actually needed in our across all the modules, be it our sales, finance, purchasing, everything. So all these elements I can find under this model. And the application suite, all other objects, elements, the code elements, everything I can find in the application suite. And the fleet management is like a Microsoft provided like an ISV solution. I have already told you. So if you want to create a third party ISV solution, you have all those will be on top of these two layers. So our over application platform is foundation, and our foundation in the suite. So if you have an extra extension model, or you have an extra model ISV solution, that comes here. So that we will see how that structure was. But if you have those things, it will come into the this part.
So
Okay.
where is the database? Is it not part of the architecture or?
Database the that structure I show you here. Database this is kind of an application structure, the model structure. Database structure, when I show you the server structure, you will see the database part. Okay, this is the application stack. Like whenever you are the package structure, I told you like that I create my element, it relates to my project, and that project is basically linked to one model, and that based on that model I have to create my packages which is used for my deployment, which are actually containing my all the objects, elements actually, which is like our XML elements, which we actually go and create and deploy, right? So this is the structure for that application stack, like how the model structure works. And the database and how our client interface work, that comes from the server architecture, which I will be going into the next slide. Okay. Okay, so yeah, just to answer your question, this is the server architecture that we are using, right? So I was saying about the three layers, right? That the data access layer, we have this our workflow metadata batch, and then we have this our client interface, which I can see into this part. Okay, so yeah, let us explain to that. So I can see here we have our database, right? Or our aggregated data source, like let me explain the aggregated data source. So by default Microsoft is providing you our database comes under the SQL database. Okay, so just to give you an understanding, so whenever you have the development environment, so we have the complete access for our VM, right? Whenever you are implementing the SQL server, also we have complete access. So the SQL server is locally hosted. So what do I mean by that? When you open the VM, you go to the VM, you have the complete access for the SQL server. So that is a locally hosted. So in that VM only, you go and find that SQL server. But for production and for test environment, that SQL server is not locally hosted. You can go into the VM. For production and test, first of all, Microsoft has disabled the access for the VMs. Previously, I think 1 year back also, I can go and use the VM for test environment, but not have the access for SQL. That will not, but I can just only go and open the VM for test. But right now that access is still disabled. I cannot go and use the test VM also. As I was saying, so for production and test, we have the SQL server hosted into the cloud. Okay, so that is not an like the database structure. So whenever I will show you the LCS part, I can show you the, if someone has worked in LCS, you will understand whenever you are importing the database from SQL, you can go and import that database, right? The database saved in one format, right, in a BAK file, back format. But if you go and try to import the database from your production or test environment, it will be saved in a different format, which comes under PSC backpack file we call. So those two files are different formats because Microsoft has completely taken over the control for those two, production and the UAT SQL server. So this is where our database lies. An aggregated data source means if you have another data source which is on top of your data source, maybe you have a other data source like maybe Excel or Microsoft Access, which you are actually connecting to some application, right? So that comes under the aggregated data source. So as I was saying, this is the data access layer, or where this database is connected to this layer. So which is, if I remember this architecture, we have this database, right? So this is our data access layer. Then we have all our metadata, workflow, security. So what do I mean by metadata? Metadata is nothing but all our objects. Whenever whatever data we are creating, not data, whatever objects we are creating, our classes, our tables, our forms, everything, all those things are lying into this layer, which is the second layer, which is our batch, workflow, every object, all our objects, the security elements, all these things, and caches also. And the third part is our forms engine, or we have a UI interface layer, which is this the third part, which is a client part, which is actually we are seeing. So we are seeing from the very top the ERP application as an like a front end part, what we call. So from here, that forms engine and the interaction layer works, and after that it talks back to this layer where we contain all our application object, where we write our business logic, everything, where our patches run, and in turn it talks to our database where we have our SQL database, be it locally hosted or cloud hosted, or if any aggregate data sources there. And also one thing is there, our if there is any endpoint, WCF, so this is like the old concept, WCF is like not used right now. So OData endpoint, all if our JSON endpoint, so for integration, like if I want to directly integrate some with our third party application, right? So for that, if I have to create a third party endpoint, right, which actually opens up my application to that application, and also I can access that application. So that way this endpoint is talking back to this layer. Okay, so this is the server architecture which I was talking. So on a broad level, first is we have the database layer, which we call a data access layer. Then we have our metadata objects, batches, workflows, everything. Then we have the third layer is our the client layer, where we have this forms engine, the UI interface layer, and the OData endpoint layer. Okay, so this is the structure. Now going back to this, yeah, this is just a this is I like in the demo, so I told you this server, including this application code base, this server, this is actually deployed to IIS. IIS is Internet Information Service, so I'll show you what is IIS. So this is actually deployed to IIS, and that IIS is actually deployed to cloud as an infrastructure as a service. So this the ERP application, whatever we are using, so we have these three concepts, right? So I believe we all know that. Let me just write that also. Okay, I think we all know that in this is like very basic for the cloud part, and if you do not know that, I will explain that to you, not a problem. Okay, so infrastructure, so IaaS means infrastructure as a service, PS platform as a service, and SaaS is software as a service. So these are the three basic methodology of the cloud whenever you are implementing something on cloud. So cloud is nothing but our shared interface and everything. So this IaaS, infrastructure as a service, like dynamics application, whenever you are going and implementing something, so this in the cloud, so this it is deployed to Azure infrastructure as a service in the virtual machine. So this, okay, so the concept is you are creating your virtual machines. We have our virtual machines that needs to be deployed to somewhere, right? So that machine needs to be hosted in the cloud, right? That is the structure, because previously what happened, I have my own server, I have my own virtual machine. All these things are hosted locally into my system in the older version, what we call out the acceptor version. We are not hosting into the cloud, but whenever it comes, whenever we are hosting something into the cloud, we have to deploy it to the cloud first, right? And when it comes to the deployment, I need to find out the methodology, how we are using the server or the cloud architecture for our deployment. Is it only we are using our infrastructure, or only we are only using the platform, or only you are using the software? So right now, all the application, everything is everything we are just deploying to the cloud as an infrastructure, because the complete infrastructure Microsoft is providing, and we are accessing all this infrastructure. So our dynamics application is deployed to the cloud as an infrastructure. Similarly, software as a service and platform as a service, these two are again two methodologies. So when it comes to software as a service, let's, as an example, if you have an application which is completely developed by you, third-party application, consider like I have created a website, it is completely maintained by me, all the database, everything is into that, but I just want to give like host into the cloud so that everyone can go and access it. So in that case, I can use the cloud, Microsoft Azure or AWS, whatever it is, as a software as a service, so that I can only, I'm using the software as a service, nothing else. So everything is like Microsoft is giving us everything. So all the application and everything is there. I am just going there and using it as a application. Similarly, platform as a service. So whenever I am using my like all my any application which is hosted on the platform, we are not using anything, so I am paying for the platform. Right now we are paying for infrastructure as a service. So this is the concept, because we are actually getting all the infrastructure, everything from Microsoft, and that is why Microsoft, whenever you get the licensing sheet, if you just Google Microsoft licensing for Dynamics 365, it gives you the licensing for mostly for CRM application. But if you see that also, you will able to see that that gives us a license. It will show you this will be like an IaaS application, this is per hour rate, and how many servers you are using, how many users you have. Based on that, Microsoft calculates the infrastructure, and based on that infrastructure, Microsoft gives you the costing of the whole application. So this is what we call as an infrastructure as a service. Okay, so going back to the server architecture, yeah, I think we already discussed that model store, like we represent a set of folders and XML, because XML is where we have all our architecture, like objects which contains our metadata. tables, classes, and everything. And model store is basically containing all the folders and the XML update, and organized by models. Yes, so right, I showed you yesterday, and I'll show you today also. So everything is right now being model driven. So all our objects, everything we can find directly into the model. So without the model we will not be able to do anything. Yeah, so this is a simplified way of saying the cloud architecture. So we have already discussed it, but yeah, so dynamics accept application, lifecycle services, shared services, all these things into the cloud. So this is like a very simplified way of saying from the cloud point of view. So shared services, lifecycle services. Shared services means if any other services from Microsoft, you are taking maybe Office licenses or maybe CRM application, everything. So those things, and Dynamics accept that, and also the lifecycle services. This is in conjunction because we need one single sign-on process. So this is the from the architecture point of view. Yeah. So just few quick questions. So I'd like everyone to participate. So we can just quickly go through the questions. So let us see. Okay. So which one of it? Anyone? Which of the following is?
Application code.
Yes, this is application core actually. So not a model in our application stack. This is application core. So from the stack point of view, we are discussed about the application platform at the bottom, then you have the foundation, then you have the top of it, you have the suite, right? So application code is not in the stack. Okay, so model stores are represented as a folders, are stored as a folders, and XML are fixed. Is it false or true or false? Anyone?
Yes, true.
Yes, it's a
True,
true.
sir.
Yeah, correct. This is right away. Lifecycle services and Microsoft Azure services that relate to what architecture. So this is our cloud architecture. This is a basic question. It's a cloud architecture. Okay, so yeah, so this is all for the model from the module part. So right now I'd like everyone to, like, if you have any questions you can just go and ask me, or otherwise we'll just go and start the PM and we'll start work on that. So if everyone has this link saved from yesterday, it's well and good. Otherwise I'm pasting it today also, the same link, and we'll start working into that VM. Okay, so this is, we have to do it today.
Maitra, I have a question.
Yes, yes, please.
Hello. Is it we are going to through this link only VM for VM access?
Yes, yes. Okay, I've pasted to everyone. So we can just go into that and work on this. So please, everyone, I am opening that link. Everyone, along with me, please go and open that link.
I don't have the link, Maitra. Can you please send me in the chat box?
I pasted into the chat window. If you open the chat window, you will be able to see that.
Okay.
Can everyone see that in the chat window?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. So please open this link.
Yes.
And just want to send the link. Okay, I have just given you the link. I'll give you again. Okay, just put into the charge once. Okay, so I believe everyone has opened this page. So I have logged into one of the Microsoft account, but I'll just quickly sign out and I'll show you how the login page works. Okay, sign into launch VM mode. I believe everyone is getting this thing. So if I click this, Yeah, so it gives me this access. So do everyone has any Microsoft account or any other account? Have you created anything?
Hotmail
uh,
or Outlook account, right?
yeah, it was. If you do not have the account, you can just simply go ahead and create it. It's very easy. Let me show you. So if you click create one, so what happens, it gives you this. So create a new account. I create a new account. So if someone do not have any emails ID, you can just follow these steps. Okay, so what I showed you, so please go ahead and do it with me. If you do not have any account, you can just simply go ahead and create that. I create a new account, and you don't need to write it. You just simply click on get a new email address, and Microsoft gives you two options, either Outlook or Hotmail. You choose anyone. I choose Outlook. You put any email ID as per your wish. Okay, if you do not have, as I again I'm saying, if you do not have any Microsoft account, just go ahead and do it with me and create this account. Just write something and create this account. You just need to set the email, the password as it is, and few very basic details, or otherwise the account will be created in like next 5 minutes. Please do that. Anyone having any difficulties while creating the account? I think it's very pretty straightforward. You should not have, but if anyone having any difficulty, please let me know. I can create another account for you if you want, or otherwise you can just go and, because you just need to type an email, click next, set the password, and it will ask your name, everything. It will be easy. Okay. Or
It's
if you
done,
have,
Mitra.
or if you have your email also, or if you have your account also, that also works. No problem also. That also works. Okay. So are everyone done?
Yes.
Okay, so please reply into the chat window. Just write Y or yes or something. I just want to see everyone's reply so that we are all in the same page, and everyone is working on that. Yeah, please go ahead and do that. Let me quickly go and look into the chat window. Please, everyone reply.
Sir, small doubt. Uh, sir,
Yes, yes. Tell me.
hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, present. I don't have a laptop. What should I do?
Okay. Okay.
Present. I don't have a laptop. Laptop and
Yeah,
PC.
I heard you. I heard you. If you have a mobile SIM, for mobile, if you are accessing the ERP, it's very difficult. It requires a big screen.
Yes.
Uh, if do you have a tablet with you? So from the tab also you can do
No,
actually.
present. I don't have my laptop in another place. In another place.
Okay. Then okay. So then do one thing. This link is shared with all of you. Just save this link. So tomorrow or Sunday, if you have an access to the laptop, open that link, create that account, and see whatever you are doing. Just to try to remember, or just to try to take a note of it, and just do that over the weekend or Monday when you do come and see the everything. We'll again go back to do this login part also. Then you can see we can how we are doing that. Okay, so just remember this link.
Oh,
Creating account is very easy. This is not a problem. But after you open that environment, how we are going to do that, just see, and once we do that on Monday, just try to recollect. Okay. Okay, because as
if
of
you don't mind, once again, please tell me the how to create the.
how to create account. Okay,
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. So here, okay, if you open, you have to open. Okay, if you have not opened that link, I think it will be difficult for you. So let me show that link. This is the link I have shared actually. Not this one. Launch VM. Okay, yeah. This is a link which I have shared actually. So if you open this page, this is gives you this part. Okay, so just see this step. This gives you this part. I click on sign in, and I get this
I
page.
think you
Yes, yes. In this page, if you have a Microsoft account, is well and good. You can go ahead and simply log in, and it's done. If you do
no.
not have an account, if you
So
do
if you
not
don't
have
mind,
an
please share your screen. Then
okay, I think I'm not sharing this. Thanks
yeah,
for
your
reminding.
screen is not shared.
That's my bad. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So if you are into this, okay. So if you are into this screen, this is the URL which I sent. If you click on this URL, it shows you like this. I click on sign in. Here it gives you the sign in page. If you have a Microsoft account, you are done. You don't have. You just need to log in. If you do not have a Microsoft account, you create one and create a new account. Here you don't need to write on behalf of you. Just simply get a new email address. So Microsoft gives you two options, Outlook or Hotmail. You select any one of them. I select Outlook. You put your own email ID or any email ID you want to use, anything. Click on next, select your password, and your account will be created. Like how you use normally create an account, right? Any Gmail or something. For Gmail also, it needs so many verification, all those things. But here it doesn't need. It just creates those accounts. It will ask you for your country region code and some name and everything, and it will be done. It will be done in next 2 minutes. Okay, so this is a step you need to follow. You have to go and create this account on your own, or if you have a Microsoft account, then you are also good to go. Okay, so this is the part that we have to do. Okay, so now coming back to our VM. So if I go and click on the VM, so I need to sign in. What is happening? Oh, 1 second. I think this is okay. So if you launch your VM, so it takes around 1 minute, and everyone please launch the VM. It gives you this screen. So the environment is being built. It says like this, and please launch everyone. Whoever has a laptop and access, created the account, please launch your VM.
Hello, Maitra.
Yes.
Yeah, after completion of this, here it is asking as select roles you are interested in.
select rows, select any of the rows, select any, okay, select any of the rows, and I think it will ask you for the application. Just write Dynamics 365 Excel as an application. Any row,
Dynamics
select,
3.
yeah, any rows. It is just a like a, I think auxiliary steps, not something mandatory. Select any 2 3 of the rows, and in the I think in the application, whatever you are interested in, just select any tool like Microsoft Excel, Dynamics 365, Office. Select any 3 of this.
Okay.
I think you can skip that page also. If I remember, I don't know, I don't remember now, but I think you have that option of skip. But yeah, you just do that.
After that, select your level beginner or
Yeah, anything, just write beginner, no problem. These are, see, this information is just from Microsoft Analytics. It's nothing to do with your VM or everything. Just Microsoft captures this information so that they have their own internal data analytics, can do all the data research based on the number of users accessing the environment. So this is just for them. Okay, I think if you are, everyone is done, so you will all be land into this page. So this is the same page if you see. So this instruction is given by Microsoft. I
not.
need you to click on these resources. I think everyone can see this page.
1 second. Yes, we are able to see the same page.
Okay, I believe everyone, we are all under the same page and we are all seeing the same screen. So
Hmm.
come into this tab, which is resources. Under the resources group, we have this admin password created. So you don't need to copy, go and select this. You just need to click on here, this T button. Click on T. It automatically types in the password and go ahead. So it actually now runs some admin provisioning tool and the command prompt, and it recreates the environment with all the services restarted and everything. It takes around 1 to 2 minutes, maximum two and 2.5 minutes, and
Yes.
after that you will be able to see your environment. So uh, let it do all this operation for next 1.5 minutes.
1 second.
You do not have any action in that. You just need to admin use the password. That's it, nothing. Everything is being automated. You do not have anything to do here.
Yeah. Here it is asking password, Mitra.
Yeah, here, come to the resources and click in this admin password T, this part. Do not need to copy paste, just click on T.
I'm not getting.
No, no, you should be getting this password.
Go
In
to
chart
resource
area.
Are
tab.
you able to
Resource
resource
tab.
tab? Are you not resource tab?
1 second. Okay. Resource tab.
Yeah, so come to the below section, which is resource group. Here you will be able to see the username, administrator, and password. You do not need to type the password. You just simply need to click on T.
Click
It
first.
will
Click on
copy the password.
username and then click on password. Right.
Yes, yes. Don't need to type the password. You just need to simply click on T, and it will start the environment. Okay.
Okay.
So it will start. Okay, so maybe some internet issue, no problem. Okay, so everyone, if that environment is opening, I think by default Microsoft Edge will open, and you have to log into that environment. So we'll do that later. But just minimize the screen and come to your this screen. Come to your this part, this screen. Okay, so in the desktop, you will be able to see your Visual Studio 2019. Is it visible for everyone?
One second.
So don't do it now. Let the administrative tool do all the action. Then only
Yes,
you do that.
we are able to see Visual Studio 2019 in the desktop.
Okay, then it's great. But for you, if that application or the everything is done, then only go and open that. Okay. So let it run first, and when it is done, then only go to your desktop and you can see that. Okay.
Just select
And
as
this
run as administrator, right?
you will do a full screen also, no problem. Yeah, everyone run as admin. So remember, do not open it, because if you run as admin, then only you will be having the complete access of complete model store and deployment. Okay, so run as admin is a important thing. You don't open it like this. So open Visual Studio. Yes.
Yeah, the same page I have.
Okay. If we are on to the same page, that's great.
Yes.
So yeah. So everyone just create a new project. I think we are all into the same this page. Okay. And here if you type finance, just write finance. It will give you this option, finance and operations. Okay. Click on finance and operations. Okay. And select next.
One second.
And project name. So everyone give some project name. Let's say uh, give it as per your wish. I'm just giving as this. Okay. So give this project name. Solution name will be created accordingly. Framework, .NET framework, don't need to change anything. Location, let it be like the location, and create. Excuse me. Okay, so
Just select the project name and location as usual by default, and solution name is also default, right?
yeah, solution name by default it takes
By
survey.
default is reflect the same, yes.
It automatically takes the same name. Yes, yes. Okay.
Place solution and project in the same directory.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so if you go and see now, by default it is created under the fleet management model. So we do not need that. We need to create our own
Hmm.
model, and we'll see how to create a new model. If you see this, if you're all into the same page, everyone go and click on extension. Actually, yesterday when I was creating the model, I just got a bit confused because some interfaces has been changed with Visual Studio 9 2019 actually. So this is the latest version, and this is actually very good. Whenever you are using any Microsoft provided test environment or something, right? So what
Hmm.
happens? Microsoft provides you the latest of all the things. So all the development latest thing are right now happening in Visual Studio 2019. So Microsoft provides you that, but most of the cases if you go and download it, you will have the like old version 2017 or something. So
But
previously in older version it was not as showed as an extension. It was, if you go here, it will show you the Dynamics 365 only. Okay, so right now they have made it under extension. Under extension you can find as a Dynamics 365. Okay, so this is a part.
but
Okay, so under Dynamics 365, go to here, model management, and create a model. Everyone please click on create a model.
one second.
And you can just full screen it, or you can just minimize this part. Okay, so give it a model name and we'll start. Then the work. So model.
Can you please tell me again?
Tell you again. Okay,
No.
go to extension.
Okay.
Under Dynamics 365.
Okay. Model management. Create model.
Model management and create a model and just write a
Okay.
name.
Just write model name, right?
Yeah, and you have to do it from your side, like if you want to do whatever. Okay, in the publisher, just write admin, no problem. Or your name, nothing, it just matter. Just I am just writing admin because we have logged in with the admin user. This right. Model description, no need to give. Copy the name and paste it in the description. Okay. And yeah, one thing, if you are giving them like model name, don't you have once you are creating a project or something, you always have to select the model. I don't need to just don't give anything with A or T, S, all these things, because under if you go to the model store, you will see there are so many model created with A. So just to avoid the confusion when you are trying to select the model, it will be more confusing. So just keep something so which starts with like maybe letters which are not being, so maybe V, like Q or those something. So just a suggestion, but if you have given something, it's fine. But anyway, you can search, not a problem. But I am just giving based on the experience, right? If under because under it you will be says thousands of models you can see. Okay. Okay, so great. So we are done with this part, and I can go and click on next. And here we have these two options. Once yeah, this is also the page was actually with few tricks, some changes was there. So create new package, select existing package, create new package is for our whenever we are doing an extension of the application. I am selecting the new package, and if I am selecting an existing package and we want to do a overlay of source code, which we discussed yesterday. What is extension? Overlaying extension is nothing but, even I'll touch upon, is nothing but just extending the external existing model where we are not tampering with any of the Microsoft code or any of the Microsoft application object. So this is our extension, and this is overlaying means yes, we can do and go and tamper the source code. So we always use the extension. We never, mostly we never use the overlaying code. Okay, so yes, click on this create new package, next, and by default it's actually give you application platform. I need you to select the
Yeah.
applications. As they're saying,
Yeah.
I have so many different models. Okay, with A.
Okay.
So you want to try to find out from A, it's a bit difficult. So please select the application suite, because if you see the application suite is also extending this model. See, the application suite tax engine, ACM control, reporting integration, all these models. So this is also extending so many models. So I just need you to select application suite also, because that will be helpful for development purposes. Application
Okay.
platform selected by default. Okay, now go
About
and click.
foundation, do we need to select?
Yeah, by default it's no, don't need foundation name, but you can go ahead and select that also, not a problem. Like, see, we need, whenever we are creating a model, we just want the model to be like crisp. So whatever we are using, we should be only extending those part only. So that is why if you do not need application commons, suite, workspaces, all these things, we do not need. See, I can go ahead and select all the models also. That will Microsoft allows that also, but it's not at all recommended. So I just need to select these three. Okay. So these are my reference packages. Then I click on my name.
Mitra, yeah, yeah. So when I'm creating the package, like select existing package, I'm getting only data feeds in the drop down.
Do not
So
select
did I
it.
made it? Yeah.
No, it's a new package. It's a new package because this is for overlaying. Overlaying will not not be allowed here. So
Not
that is
allowed
why
here.
I
Oh,
always,
oh,
yes, will be always select the existing create a new package.
okay. Okay.
So
Alright.
overlaying, like we'll discuss next week, because we will not have the option to do overlaying, so we'll only be using the new package. So create new package, click on next, and select foundation, platform, and suite. Okay, and click on next. So it gives you overview, whatever reference packages you have used. I do not create a new project. If you have a create a new project, uncheck this. Okay, I am unchecking this one, and make this model default for new projects, which is right. Make this a default reference package, this part, name and display this part. Okay, and now finish.
What happens when you click on create new project here?
It again creates a new project with that
Okay,
model.
so in the beginning, what you created as VP demo tech one. Okay,
So
got it.
I already created new one, right? So my idea would be, now I right click here and click on my properties, where it is. Yes, this is where I can see my project properties. Right click into the project and see the property. Okay, and in the model, select your own. So if I just view, I just get this video model now.
Just a second.
Here, please select your own model, whatever you have created now.
In the model.
If you go to your project, you right
Okay.
click and find the properties. Under the
Yes, yes.
properties, you go and select your new model.
1 second.
Okay, will these models that we have created will still be there when we log in tomorrow?
Model login tomorrow? No, this is like used for 2 hours, so we have to create that. So once we
Okay.
do the
Every time we need to create our own models, then we need to get the hands on, is it?
yeah.
I
One
I
more
can
thing.
have a doubt. Can I ask a
This
doubt? Yeah,
yeah,
actually,
just
I installed
one.
Visual Studio in my laptop.
Okay.
Through that, I can go through this all these things.
You have how did you open Visual Studio? You have just went to internet and downloaded Visual Studio.
No, no. I installed from hardware person from
Instead
Amazon.
of, but okay, but I think you will not be able to see this extension. This will be not be available. So Dynamics 365, all these things will not be come to you. So I'll take that question later. But yeah, I think though that will not work. So
Okay, well,
that is a separate route that you have to download the VHDD and only, because see, Visual Studio is one application. Okay, so
hmm.
okay, so let me just complete this one. So I click on OK.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
discuss that.
Okay. Yeah, I select my model. Okay, one more thing. So if you are only thinking that Visual Studio is the only thing which is being used here, it's not actually. If you go to your system, if you go to the C drive,
Mitra, in this 2 hour session window that we are currently seeing, let's say we have created the model here, which is a test model. Can I export this as a package and save this under on my laptop, on my local machine, and next time whenever I will be logging here?
yeah, you can do that. You can do that. I'll show you later. So I have this option. Okay, okay, I just need to find out. Where is, okay, the point which I was trying to make was, we have all our objects and everything here. Okay, so we need our IIS, we need our app.NET framework to run the compiler, then we need our packages, local directory, all these things. Okay, if you just go and download the Visual Studio, it will not work. So we need to have the complete package. Okay, and this, yeah, the project, we have that option to export everything that is there. We can save it into the environment, and we can come and import it also. That will not be a problem. But just to answer your question, if you only have our this Visual Studio, it will not work. We need to complete this. So again, I was saying that there was two routes, right? The second route was just to go and download a PhD from LCS. If you download that PhD, so it contains first we have to install 10 files. Then the PhD comes, and then only you can access. So only having the Visual Studio, it will not work. Okay. So yeah, so today we'll conclude the session here. So from tomorrow we'll deep down into the different objects, and we'll show how to create all those objects and go and take the session. Okay, so this is a like from Monday we'll be deep dive more into the different objects, because right now we have discussed about creating the model, extension, overlaying, how the cloud architecture structure, everything. So now if I go to my file view, and I can see my here application explorer, correct? So I can see my application explorer, I can see all my objects. Now I need to create my objects and see how those looks like. So that will be the basic part of the development training process. Okay, so that will be starting from Monday. So any questions? I'll take some questions and then we can wrap up the session for today.